Right, this is the first episode of the Football Suite. This is a relatively new chat show, and I've been planning it for a while now. And my co-host Richard, say hello.
How you doing? You okay?
I'm very good. And the reason we wanted to have this first episode is we wanted to explain our vision of what the show could become. And basically, we want to be talking about all football. Like, we're not locked to the Premier League. We're not locked to the big teams in Europe. We're everywhere. We want to talk about everything. And seeing as how there's not a debate show like this on YouTube, we wanted to be the first to sort of bring in a new, YouTube chat show. Am I right, Richard?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a case of, there's plenty of fan sites out there, United fan sites, Liverpool,
Yeah.
Chelsea, Arsenal, but there's not really one that's for all fans, whether it be Championship, whether it be La Liga. The fact that one site, one place where any fan from any walk of life can come and have a chat about the football, have a bit of banter, put their opinions across. I think it's missing, and the social media side of things, it's definitely missing.
100%. I can't agree. I can't agree more. And when I've been watching other YouTube football fan sites, you see a lot of like the odd fan come on, and you'll see like on some away days you'll see someone get interviewed and they'll give their opinion, but you don't really see them bouncing off each other. You just see them kind of just putting their point across, and that would be it. Well, I wanted to have, for instance, you're a Manchester United fan, I'm a Chelsea fan. It'd be nice to have a Liverpool fan on. It'd be nice to have a Tottenham fan on, an Arsenal fan on, and everyone express their views. And you know what, they could be on and it couldn't be anything about their teams, but we want to be able to talk about the latest news, and we want everyone to feel involved. And I want someone who's watching this episode to think, yeah, I'd like to be involved. Put yourself forward, because that's what we want to do. It's like sports radio. You see people come forward and express their opinion, and I think someone like TalkSport is the best way to prove that. But there's nothing for that everyone to do. But if we continue to upload like our plan was, then it could be very good, and it could also be a voice after every single match. Everyone could want to put their point across. It could come to a point where we're reading out comments that people have asked us. That could be a very big thing. And when I've been thinking about this for the last couple of months, I'd say around the time the World Cup started, and I asked a couple of people and they said, yeah, it's a good idea. It's just I don't think that you will get the viewers as quick as you hope to, but it doesn't really matter to me because it's just a venture, and I think it could go really well. And then we've been talking for the last couple of years on Twitter now, and I thought, who better to do it with? Well,
yeah, look, we've had our own banter backwards and forwards. Like you say,
exactly.
You're a Chelsea fan, I'm a United fan.
Exactly.
And that's what it's been. Look, 2 years ago it started off. I think we had the same maybe group of friends in common on there, and they were people that were passionate about football. And from different teams, from different clubs, from different walks of life, and over the last 2 years, we've cemented that, and we've pretty much every single day.
And you can tell sometimes how the person's off, and the other person bites a bit too easy. The other person puts a bit too much banter across, and I'm not afraid to say you've caught me a few times with the fishing hook. I'd admit that, but that's the best thing, and I think I want this to be that people don't take it too seriously. Like, if somebody's coming on and talking rubbish about a team, we don't want that. We want someone who's going to come on, put their point across, and have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, and it's not about, like you say, it's not about slagging off another team. It's not about, having it's just that, look, at the end of the day, we've all got this, regardless of who we support, we've all got the same thing in common. We're all passionate about the same thing, and that's football. I'll watch anybody, whether it's MK Dons beating Man United 4-0, or whether it's Spanish football on a Saturday night. I'll watch any football that I can. I'll go to any football matches. I'm a hardcore Manchester United fan. I've had a season ticket my whole life. But if I've got a mate who's an Everton fan and he's got a ticket for Goodison, I'll go to Goodison. If I've got a mate who's a Stockport County fan, then I'll go to County. I was 2-3 weeks ago down at Salford City. You know, non-league football.
Exactly.
It's football at the end of the day, and you know,
Exactly.
that's
I think
what it's
people
all
get
about.
I think people get the old club fan and football fan a bit mixed up. I consider myself to be a football fan. I'm not just a Chelsea fan, because if I was just a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't be watching any football I could. And I like to watch other teams, because let's be honest, we want to see other teams playing the best football. We want to see our rivals losing, and that's the best thing about football. It's all about, you know, the office banter the next day. It's always about putting your head down because you know the Arsenal fan's going to come over to you after you've just had a loss. And, you know, that's the best thing about football, the debate side. You can't tell me you watch football and then don't have an opinion after.
Exactly. I mean, the way this is going to go in my eyes is this is no different than when you get together with your mates at a weekend on a Saturday night. You've been to the football, or you've watched the football, or whatever it may be. It's 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. You're in the pub having a few drinks, and you sit and just debate the day's football, whether that be your team, whether that be, you know, what happened in the Liverpool game, whether did you see that it was blatantly handball or it was never a penalty. It's all about the discussion of football. And it's never going to change.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I can't remember the last time I've come back from a Chelsea match and I've agreed with everyone on what Chelsea had done. Like, you watch some of the matches and some parts will be abysmal where other people think they were great. And I want someone to come on and tell me that. I want to go to the Chelsea match, record one of these the next day, and someone tells me I'm completely wrong. Because that's the point.
That's the good thing about it, is everybody's got their own opinion. And, you know, everyone's going to have their own opinion about a footballer. Everyone's going to have their own opinion about an incident. Everyone's going to have their own opinion about a result. You know, and that's the best part about it, is the different people we get on from different walks of life and different teams. You know, the debate's going to be, because not one person is going to have the same response to anything that we discuss.
Exactly, and that's why I don't want inappropriate language on this show, because I want this show, you know, when I was a 14-year-old lad, I was watching the same thing. I was listening to TalkSport and I was thinking, yeah, I want to go on and vent my opinion and stuff like that. And I want other people to be able to, without having the need of someone like telling them they're wrong and just blatantly being rude and arguing, because that's not what this is going to be about. And that's why the people that we've explained to that want to come on here, you know, we're happy for anyone to come on. I'm not going to discriminate against anyone, what club, you know, anything. But all I want is show respect to the people that are on here, and it'll get along fine. And that's including myself and you. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, you're always going to get the odd one or two that are probably going to want to spoil it for everybody else. But, you know, again, I mean, that's maybe the beauty of the whole thing, is the fact that something like that is going to then bring the people that were involved in that closer together, and they're going to be them regular people that we speak to on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want. And when I thought of this idea, it was have the set 4 people who come on every time, and then it was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to have my co-host, which was obviously you, and I think it would be great to get 2 people on, maybe 1. You know, not everyone can come on every time, but at least have 1 person extra every time so we can talk about things, and then, you know, sort of rotate around guests, and then we sort of build up a guest list of people who have been reliable, you know, sort of, I don't mean to sound like too over the top, but well behaved on the show, and we know that they're gonna put a good point across. Yeah. And then if we have them good people that put in across, and then we have someone else and they say at the last minute, I can't do it, you know, we give these people a call and say, like, we've got a space, do you want in on it? And if they say yeah, then that's brilliant, and we build up a big guest list. And then if we do this weekly, you know, it can become very good, and it will get us in the mood of doing it as well. Also, I'm going to be in a mood if Chelsea don't do well, but I don't want that to stop me doing this, because I also think it will be just as good me doing it when I'm annoyed that Chelsea haven't won, as I can imagine you were with Manchester United yesterday.
And it took 13 minutes for you to have that dig. 13 minutes.
It was. You knew it was coming, but then I'm surprised you haven't mentioned Lampard yet. So
See, I was going to be nice. I was thinking it's the first one. Be nice. Don't mention it. Lampard scored the equaliser for Man City against Chelsea.
And people have to realise this is going to happen every episode. So, that's the thing.
But
and
the last comment I made was that I didn't think Diego Costa was going to do any good in the Premier League, and I'll take that back straight away. Kind of embarrassed myself on that one a little bit.
I think he surprised every Chelsea fan, considering we haven't had a striker of his calibre since Drogba in his prime. It's different, and even Drogba didn't play every match, and then we ended up with, I don't really want to say the name, but Fernando Torres. But I always supported him, and now he's gone. It's over. So that's all I can say. And then Perfect, another backup in Remy. But then you can't really hate Demba Ba after what he done at Liverpool. So
exactly, he's a hero for most football fans after that day.
100%, and that's no disrespect to Liverpool fans, but we all have our opinion, and that's what I want. I want a Liverpool fan to come on and tell me I'm wrong. That's what I want. So so if we jump onto a different topic of the overall view we see for the football suite, when the first thing I done when I created it was I created a Twitter account, and this was basically for everyone to comment in, tell us how we can improve the show, what do they think of the show. We did have an idea that me and Richard were talking about doing goal updates, whether you'd be interested in us doing that every Saturday. I'd definitely be interested in doing it, but also it'd be quite difficult considering we both go to the football matches.
Yeah.
But we've both got access to the Twitter, so it could work out, down the road. But the Twitter, I know that Richard was quite interested in doing giveaways, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, look, let's start this off and start it off properly. If we can get a few people involved, get a few people on the show, a few people talking, get the numbers on Twitter, just basically get our name out there. I'm thinking maybe in the first month or so, give away a football shirt of your choice or something. We'll run a competition.
I'm happy with that.
Or something like that. Best funniest caption on a sports picture, football picture, whatever it may be. We'll think of something, give away a shirt of your choice, and it doesn't have to be, your team's shirt. The vast majority have already got our team's shirt. If you're
if you're a Chelsea fan and you've always wanted a Real Madrid top, that could be the sort of thing we could do. I was also quite interested in doing maybe once an episode giving out a £10 gift card. So something to the extent of that, because I honestly feel that if we continue with this, it could be a very good thing, and I'm passionate enough about this that I want to stick with it, and I know the fans aren't gonna stick around for nothing, so we've got to obviously give some people something worth staying for, and the gift could be worth staying for, and then they could understand that, a reason that they like the show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I look at they all do it, don't they? Every single fan gives something away. I'm also looking at this as well. Obviously, just picking up on a point there, you said obviously we both go to the football. We've both got season tickets. I want to hear from other season ticket holders. Updating us during the games, telling us what they think. How they think the first half went.
Yeah, exactly. We want pictures from the matches. We want to see. Yeah. We want to see them. We want to hear audio and video of fans cheering. We want you to tell us your best football chance. We want to see pictures after and before the game, no matter the result. Because at the end of the day, we give each other banter, but we love our teams, and that's what it's all about. And this was meant to be about everyone. I don't want. There's the amount of Leeds fans I know that don't get their voices heard, and then stuff like that. A few at my work. And talk about it, and they're like, everywhere we go, it's Premier League this and Premier League that. Well, come on, have your say. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I put this out there. What was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago when you asked me to get involved, and I put it out there, and the vast majority of people are probably going to be Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, United fans, City fans. But I've had Leeds United fans ask me how it's going to go. I've asked Bradford City fans have asked me whether it's going to be a show for lower leagues or not.
Exactly, and I also had people ask.
Fan.
Exactly, I've also had people ask, is it just going to be Premier League? No, it's not going to be. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah,
this isn't the Premier League suite. This is the football suite. This is about everything.
The best way it can be summed up is it's a football show by the fans for the fans, and it's not a case of the fans of a certain team, of the fans of a certain league. It's
exactly.
We don't know who's going to come on and want to speak to us each week. So
exactly.
It
could be the random Twitter user. It could be our friends from the football. We don't know, and that's the beauty of it. Obviously I don't want to have just someone I go to football with, because that's going to be pretty boring to talk about. 2 Chelsea fans and possibly 2 United fans. It's kind of silly, unless there was a big incident, which you have perhaps Arsenal versus Tottenham. If we have that sort of thing, and down the line, if we do that and have 2 people like sort of tag teaming,
like a big incident where like Danny Welbeck actually scores, one of them incidents, or
no, because that's more of a miracle than an incident. But but the thing is, I can't really say that considering he scored against Villa. But But yeah, exactly. Like, we have a big incident where something happens where like Luis Suarez doesn't bite a player, and then Barcelona fans want to come on and talk about how much he's changed.
Yeah.
But then 2 weeks later he goes and bites someone. If we do a Suarez episode, but what I wanted to do when I first did it was 45-minute segments where we talk about 3 news stories, and then at the end we talk about the latest scores and then the upcoming football matches. So for instance, we can talk about the football from yesterday, we could talk about the matches next week and our predictions, and then at the start of next week's episode we can talk about who was right with the predictions.
Yeah,
that's the sort of thing we can do. But no, that's exactly what I wanted to do. When I first started it, this could turn into a website, this could turn into a full-on a online radio. We don't know, but there's no point me saying a couple of years down the line, I wish I would have done that, because there's people now like yourself who I can do it with. I'm not on my own doing this, so it's a lot more comforting knowing that I've got someone equally passionate about football doing it as you.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing about it is we stay committed, and I've spoken to a lot of them, like Amit Lau on Twitter, another passionate United fan, and he seems like a really nice guy, so I'd be happy to have him on.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that we've both interacted with on Twitter, and
exactly.
I think that's maybe where I think that's the hub really of what we're about, because that's where this idea stemmed from. We first started talking on there because of football. We had different opinions. We're Chelsea fan, United fan, Liverpool fans, whatever it may be.
Definitely.
And people have, faded away because they don't like the opinions of other people. And
exactly.
That's happen. We're maybe going to get people on that don't like the fact that somebody's saying that their team's not done well, or they don't agree with their opinion. And I think that's the beauty of this is the fact that
you watch any good chat show, and you always get someone that comes on, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, put your opinion across all means. That's what I want. You listen to people like Stan Collymore, and I'd say about 40% of his replies from people are abuse. But you've got to just like brush it away, because it's not worth it. If someone's going to put a fair comment to me and put a fair point across saying what Chelsea have done wrong, or any team, then I'm happy to do that. But if you bring personal into it, if you start abusing people on the show or abusing people in the comment section, I'm not happy with that. Put your point across by all means, but don't abuse people.
Yeah, look, there's a difference, like you say, between abusing somebody and passion and banter and whatever else. And some people do obviously mistake and banter for other things. But I think in all fairness with this one, I think if we keep the language to a pleasant, no swearing. Somebody might get a little bit excited every now and then, and we may have to apologise, and that's going to happen.
Yeah,
But if you've
yeah,
got
exactly.
somebody on here all the time,
I've got no problem with someone getting really excited, like their team's just won a trophy, and they're that excited that they can't hold it in. I haven't got a problem with that. Obviously, I'd apologise after the person's done it, but what I don't want is just people just arguing and they're getting aggressive. Let's put it that way, and that's not the show we want to do. And if you listen to any radio, they don't have it. If you look on TalkSport, the minute someone gets frustrated, it's just they're gone.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. We want to keep it PG. Put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. Because the thing is as well that we're looking at an audience here where we could have a 10-year-old ringing us
exactly
to have a chat with us about their local team. We could have a 80-year-old bloke that's been going to Stamford Bridge his whole life.
Exactly. And also you get, and it's a universal game now. There's no matter how certain people feel, there are going to be children at the matches. They shouldn't have to. Unfortunately, they do hear certain things at the matches that I find a bit silly, but that's football. But if they want to come on here and express their opinion about a certain thing, I could think they're completely wrong. I could think they don't have a clue what they're talking about. But I'm happy to let everyone have their say.
Yeah. I think I just want to put this out here as well, because a lot of people I've spoke with, I talk to a lot of people, Manchester United fans, Liverpool fans, City fans, and I know a lot of female football supporters that have got a lot of knowledge. So I just want to that this isn't about lads, and it isn't about the banter of lads and lads.
No, exactly.
The sites where the local or the regional team sites, and a girl gets involved and you see the comments of, oh, she doesn't know nothing about football. I've got some girl mates that know a hell of a lot about football.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, we're not exactly. We look at people as football fans. We don't look at them as men going to the football, because it's just ridiculous. It's difficult to say to some people because they're so set in their ways, but no, it's football is a football game. If someone wanted to come on and talk about an incident that's happened in the FA Women's Football League, that is I do not mind that at all. I watch it sometimes myself when it's on BT Sports, and I'm happy to have people from all football, not just that. Anything. If you're charity fundraising a football match and you want to come on and make an announcement, I'm happy for that.
Hey, look, if you put it out there, if people are playing, if we've got people listening to us that are playing in the lower leagues,
exactly,
playing in the youth teams of their local club, whatever it may be. This is let's get involved. Come and have a chat with us. Tell us what it's like day to day. The day-to-day life of a football at a grassroots level or whatever it may be.
Exactly. Like I said, if people want help with certain things, like they want to get their advertisement out there, come and tell us. We could help. If someone's organising a charity football match at their local football stadium, give us a poster. We could put it in the video at some point. That's what we can do. And if we do this, a lot of people understand what we're about. We're not coming to upset people. We're coming to just show our passion, which is football.
Yeah, definitely, and we've the different forms of social media now. We've got a chance here to put something out there that everybody can get involved in. It's not just going to be a Twitter page where people will see a few links every now and then. It's going to be interactive. If you've got an opinion, you don't just have to write a response back. Give us drop us a message. Say you want to get involved on the next show. You want to have a debate about something. Actually physically getting involved, having a chat with us, getting involved in the whole story that this has started from. Just a couple of people having a chat and banter and a laugh and a joke about what they all love and they've got the same in common with.
Exactly, and I think. I'm a big fan of TalkSport, and I look at the way Stan Collingwood's been doing it, and the way he's sort of, I wouldn't say like fully gone, but he's drifted away from Twitter onto the social network of Sports Yapper. You know, that could potentially be what we do. We could set up one of them accounts. It wouldn't take a lot, and you know, we could interact with fans on that and say, "Come on," because one thing I will not tolerate is racism. You know, if that comes in, you're gone. You're never even having another chance. You know, that's fully done. And even if you abuse another fan that's on the show, if we think it's too much, you're never coming on again. You know, that's the way. Show respect, and that goes for everyone. You know, that it could be a guest that we've had for 30 episodes. If he turns around in one match and makes a certain comment, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what. So I just want to put that out there. That's just something I want to do. But obviously the next big thing is I know we've talked about it earlier, but I think the giveaways. If we continue to grow and hit milestones like 1,000 subscribers and followers, and you know, even I'm not holding my stakes up too high for this, but you know, 100,000, you know, there could be bigger prizes coming, couldn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, you know, we've got a few irons in the fire. I don't want to be giving, you know, too much away to people. I just think, you know, the opportunity's there for this to be something special. And the only way it's going to be something special is if the fans get involved. And if the fans are getting involved, then we want to give something back. And, you know, it might only be a football shirt, or it might be a voucher. It might be a tour of your local football stadium. It could be tickets. It could be anything at all. You know, we've got the opportunity here for this to actually grow and to be something. And once it does get there, the giveaways could be endless. To be perfectly honest.
Exactly. And I'm thinking, when we said about the football shirt idea, I'm thinking maybe the next show or the one after, but I think personally I'd like to put Richard in charge of giveaways. Obviously I'm not going to say Richard's going to pay for the giveaways, obviously, because that's not what I'm about. I'm happy to contribute. Of course, you know, we're partners in this, but I think Richard would be in charge of choosing said giveaway and organising it. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, definitely. No problem.
Like I said, Rich could do that. We're both currently in charge of the Twitter account. It could be a time in the future where we get someone else involved in the football suite, and their sole purpose would be to get in charge of the social network side of things. Because I haven't got a problem running it, but if we're continually doing the show and I'm doing the editing, you know, it could be quite time consuming. Consider we both work as well. So
yeah.
And that's another thing. We're both ordinary working people, so we're no different from the people that are listening to this. So that's another thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, you know, it's working class people that pretty much go to football, especially the lower, exactly. You know, the lower leagues and the grassroots and stuff. And you know, it just proves is that there's two people that have got regular day jobs, have got time to do this and put it out there for people. You know, you've got the time to come on and have, you know, a 10, 15-minute chat. You know, you don't have to stay on for the whole 45 minutes, you know.
Exactly. We could have rotating guests on the show. You know, it doesn't take a lot to add someone to a call. You know, that's the beauty of it. And also the full controllability of that. Because the one person we don't want in it, you know, we can quickly remove if they're misbehaving, but also add in anybody. You know, anybody in the world can just connect to this. You know, it's over the internet. You know, we're not having to meet up someplace and talk with a mic. I think that's one of the beautiful bits of it.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, again, that's again, you know, this is over the internet. We could be talking to somebody in Brazil. We could be talking to somebody in Germany about that. You know, again, I mean, I want to reiterate with this that it's not about the English leagues. It's not about the Premier League. It's about teams in Europe. If you've got an opinion on your local team, if you've got an opinion on what's happening in your country, the way that season tickets are run in Germany, for instance, and the way that it's running, you know, anything at all, get involved.
Yeah, exactly. And you've seen some celebrities in recent years have very strong opinions on the Premier League. And if you have the same opinions, you don't have to come on and talk about a certain team. You can come on and vent your frustration on the FA, on the English referees. I know Richard must know that I disapprove of English referees a lot, and not just Chelsea. I watch some matches where I think and even against Chelsea, like I think as much as it pains me to say, because it was Mourinho's record, like Ramirez last year against West Brom, you know, it was one of them incidents where it was just like, why are you doing this? And you know, you're a professional. You know, there's a lot of people, even on the other side of the ground, that could see that wasn't a penalty, but it still gets given. You know, and like I said, with shows, it could be the point that we set one news topic that we talk about, and the rest is, you know, freestyle. You know, we just talk about the latest topic, and someone brings in completely different. You know, but I'd like to have at least one topic. You know, like yesterday we could say Lampard scoring against Chelsea. You know, that could be the main story, and of Mourinho's comments after, and then Pellegrini's comments after, and then the incident with Diego Costa. You know, we could spare 15 minutes for that and then freestyle the rest of the video. But I wanted to keep the video possibly to a 45-minute segment, because I don't want it to be too long that people think it's a struggle listening to it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like, this could be a commute to work thing in the morning. It could be on the way back from work. It could just be while you're doing something in the kitchen, you know. That's the sort of thing I wanted it to be.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, to be fair, I think 45 minutes is, you know, it ties everything up nicely. It like you say, it doesn't get too boring. You know, we're not going to be going over the same topics. You know, the 45 minutes is going to fly by when you've got 2 or 3 people having a chat about their opinion on the weekend's results or their team or whatever it may be. But obviously, you know, there are certain sites out there, and you know, I'm not going to be ashamed to say certain sites that I know friends are involved in, and you know, you open up a video that they've sent you and it's an hour and a half long, and it's like, well, I've not got time to sit and watch this for an hour and a half, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, you know, we keep it to 45 minutes, we get enough in there. You know, some days it may run over, some days there might not be enough to talk about for 45 minutes. I'm pretty positive it's not going to happen, but you know,
and I also think that if it does run over, it's going to be about interesting topics. It's not just going to be us talking about, oh, how was your day sort of thing. It's going to be about a lot of things. You know, we're not talking about a single match. So if we go over, it could be potentially about all of the matches that were on today. So it could be something like that. It could also be the fact that it go over because I call you while you're at a Manchester United match. And, you know, you can get Skype on your phone. You could call me and just say, like, I could be talking to 2 other people and say, I'm just going to Richard now. And you could talk about the match. You know, it could be like that. And that could be something very good.
Yeah, I think that's what I really want to get that over to people, is that, you know, we want to hear from people that are actually at the games. We're going to talk about things that we see on TV. You know, not every single one of us is going to have the opportunity to watch the game in full. So we're only going to see highlights on some occasions, and obviously everybody knows that highlights are highlights, so you don't get involved in everything. You miss certain incidents. You know, if we're hearing from people that are at the football that saw it there, you know, or somebody that's seen a full game and they know what's happened, and their opinion again is going to be completely different than someone that's just seen a segment of it for 30 seconds on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that I can't stress enough that the best way to contact us would be Twitter. You know, we've both got separate Twitter accounts, at Richard Huckval, and I'm Leon at MoneyGFX. But we've also set up the Twitter account, the Football Suite, personally for fans to come in. But I haven't got a problem if you mention me. You know, that's fine with me, because this is going to be my main vision for a good few months, and if it can grow, then it's going to be like my full-time thing. You know, obviously it's not one of them things where you can give up your job doing it, but you definitely want to keep your head in this. It's, you know, both of us are quite passionate about this. We've been talking about it for, I think, at least about 3 weeks now, am I right? And we've been planning to do this, but obviously work commitments have got in the way sometimes. Sometimes I admit it wasn't set up on my end, so we couldn't do it, you know, but these things happen. But now everything's ready, so we're ready to go. Like, I'm happy to do this weekly now. Yeah,
definitely. And I think as well, maybe, you know, when we look at this and maybe do it on I don't know, maybe a Tuesday or something like that. So we've got all the weekends football, the Monday night football in, and if it gets to a point where it's big enough and there's enough demand for it, then
twice.
Do another one on Friday night after the Champions League games. I mean, I know
definitely.
I'd be busy during the week being a United fan.
I
just thought I'd get that in there before you did.
It was coming, but no, definitely. Like, obviously, a lot of people are going to say, like, oh, well, you're not doing it for the Champions League matches. We are. It's just we can't cover everything, so we're going to try and cover as much as we can. And doing it on a Tuesday is probably the best way to do it because we've had the rest of last week and then the week coming. So that's the best thing. And a lot of I know it pains you and me, but with Liverpool in the Champions League now, there's ultimate possibilities that Liverpool fans will come on and then they'll say their own thing. That Suarez loss was a big thing, and personally, I don't think they've covered themselves. But then I could also say that United haven't covered themselves. When transfer deadline day was going, I was messaging you saying, it's brilliant that you've got Falcao. It's amazing that you've got Di Maria. And Di Maria, who I think is an amazing player, no shadow of a doubt. But United really could have done with a holding midfielder or particularly a centre-back. That's the sort of thing I feel.
We've got Chris Smalling.
I kind of feel sorry for Chris Smalling because it's like I think he's being asked to do something he's not doing. I mean, I don't really think he's a footballer personally, but
how that bloke gets paid to play football, I'll never. There's hope for everybody, anybody that's listening. There is hope for anybody if Chris Smalling could play for Manchester United.
To be fair, I thought the same thing with David Luiz for about, I'd say, 90% of the time he was a Chelsea player, and then he'd do wonders against like Bayern Munich. Like I'll never forget that goal he scored against. I'll never forget the goal Hernandez scored against us, where he was just standing there looking and just. It wasn't my fault. When I'd say majority of the things in defence were his fault. But that's just one of the things. I'm gonna probably talk about Chelsea more than a few other people, just because I'm a Chelsea fan, but I'm also a football fan. I love talking about all football, and that's what this is going to be about. So
yeah, well, look, I mean, we've all got our one team that we're passionate about and that we support, but regardless of whether you're a United fan, a City fan, a Liverpool fan, an Everton fan, a Tranmere fan, you're gonna have an opinion on the day-to-day, basics of football. And that's the whole point of this is you don't have to come on and talk about what Bradford did today or what Tranmere did today or what Liverpool did today. If you want to come on and talk about, the international break, whether or not it's good or bad for, the start of the season, whether you want to talk about Spanish football and is Gareth Bale right in saying that La Liga's better than the Premier League and
exactly. It could be anything. It could be a previous player who's caused an incident that's nothing to do with football, but because he was ex-football, you want to talk about it and you want to talk about the person's morals. You want to talk about John Terry. You want to talk about Ryan Giggs. You want to talk about these players and how it's affected, football as you know it. You could talk about something for 15 minutes and we might not agree with you, but you can have your say. You could talk about the Qatar 2022 World Cup and how you think it's pathetic, but someone else might come on and say something completely different. I could have a different opinion, but that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we've all got our opinions on different aspects of football. Some of us love international football, some of us don't. Some of us get really passionate about the World Cups and the European Championships. Some of us don't. Some people don't think the FA Cup's what it used to be, the magic of the FA Cup. But come on, let's be honest.
I can't say I agree with that because whenever I watch the FA Cup, like as much as I don't want it to happen, when you see someone like last year when we played last year or the year before when we played Brentford and they gave us a really tough match. I think there's something admirable about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't care who you are. You know, if you love football, everybody remembers watching the FA Cup final, whether your team were involved or not. You know,
Exactly.
everybody watches the FA Cup final, whether or not your team's there, whether or not your team's got no chance of winning the FA Cup. You know, the romance of the FA Cup is second to none, and you can have your Champions League. And for me, this is my opinion on a Champions League. Don't get me wrong, winning the Champions League is an amazing achievement for any club, regardless of who you are, where you've played, whoever you've beat in the final. But to win your domestic title, for me, is the pinnacle.
Considering you've gone from, I think, I'm not saying the Champions, I'm kind of saying exactly the same thing as you. The Champions League is amazing, and to win it, you kind of feel like you're on top of the world. But when you have the FA Cup, you have a team that potentially is worth less than your top striker.
Yeah.
And that team to beat you, you know, is something very proud. You know, you'll talk about it for years, just one match, and rightly so, because to beat in the Champions League, you're only going to play a certain group of. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You know, anybody can win a knockout competition. You know,
exactly.
It's a one-off. That, you know, it's a one-off that day. You know, Man United v MK Dons the other week. You know, did anybody really think MK Dons were going to beat United 4-0?
No, of course not.
Really. So, but you know, someone's going to have an off day, and that's the same with the World Cup. It's the same with the Champions League. Once it gets to the knockout stages, it's a lottery. You know, he could have a bad decision go against you. You could have look at Manchester United, Real Madrid a couple of seasons ago. We dominated that game at Old Trafford.
The nanny kick.
And it changes the game completely. You know?
Exactly, yeah. And also, I personally feel that there's nothing better than watching a 11 versus 11. You know, whenever someone gets sent off, it changes the matches, and it normally doesn't change it for a good way, because there's always one team on the back foot and then one team on the top, and you never get to see the best of the two teams. You know, that's when I'm watching a neutral. When it's Chelsea versus someone, couldn't care less. But that's just me. But you know, it happens in football, and that's what I want people to do. I want people to come on. You know, you could be a Forest fan and you want them glory days back. You know, that's the beauty of it, and I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole point of this. Is, you know, we want any football fan to come on in any walk of life, and you know, any age, any era. You know, look, I mean, I'll talk to anybody. If somebody wants to come on and talk about the football back in the 80s was better than it is now, if football back in the 90s, you know, my personal opinion is, you know, I'm 29 years of age. I think the glory years of the Premier League was the early to mid 90s. The football back then, the excitement, the backwards and forwards, anybody could have won the league. Whereas now, you know, we all know, we walk into a Premier League season and 5 teams have got a chance of winning the league.
Exactly, yeah. And also with the money involved now, and you know, that there could be anyone. Now, you know, people say it about Chelsea. I kind of disagree to an extent, because I remember going to Chelsea when the money wasn't there, and we were still doing pretty well. You know, pretty well for a team that was possibly going to get bankrupt. Yeah. And, you know, I personally feel with a team like City, who was relegated so close to getting that money, you know, it shows that someone can come in and change a football club. And
look, I mean,
what I kind of liked is Everton last year, because they surprised so many people. And I'm not going to say they didn't spend any money, because they did. Every team spends money. But the way they done it, they loaned a couple of players and they brought in some good talent as well. And that's what I love about the Premier League. We could turn up against Stoke and have a really tough match, and then go on and beat Arsenal or City. But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, nobody would have thought that once Manchester United went 3-1 up, on Sunday, that we'd get beat by 3. Nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, my opinion of the Chelsea game was, once the sending off was done and Chelsea pretty much scored straight away, the only outcome I could see was Chelsea going on and scoring 3 or 4 goals.
I mean, I said to my dad while we was watching it, I said, you know, we're going to sit back now. We're not going to attack, and that was the issue. It was, we're not pushing forward enough when certain teams are on the back foot, and then we give them the chance to score a late goal. And you know what? It was, the minute Lampard came on, I was just like, please don't, because I know what he's capable of. I've watched him pretty much my whole adult life, and I've seen what he can do in like just change games in seconds. And you know what? He almost scored again if Terry didn't jump in the way. So you know that's it. But that's all I can say. And I don't particularly want to say any more about Lampard yesterday, but but yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like I want someone to come in and be passionate about their team.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a great way to end the first show really, and just say,
Definitely.
We want people to come on, be passionate about the team, regardless of who you support, what league you're in, what country they're playing. You don't have to come on and talk about your team. It'd be great to have, Arsenal Spurs match, and it'd be great to have a Fulham fan on it, a Chelsea fan come on it, a City fan come on it, and talk about that game. They're completely impartial.
Yeah.
No, doesn't affect them whatsoever, and have a debate, have a chat, and have a bit of banter.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I think that's why it was important to do this first episode with just us, because we've said what we've wanted to say. I'm sure people, not everyone's going to watch this whole video, and I'm fine with that, but just come on and have a little look and see if you like it. Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment leave a tweet. Tell us how you think it went, how it could be improved. Yep. But, this isn't something that's going to go away because a couple of people said they don't like it. There's enough people that are going to get involved in this, and we'd prefer it if anyone watching just drops a little comment. Just tell us something little. If you say, I like it, that it doesn't have to be any more than that, because stick around. You never know that it could become something that's regular when you're watching football. It could be after the match, I wonder if the football suite are going to talk about so-and-so, anything like that. And, just hit the subscribe button, you might come to like it. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting.
And if you have stayed to the end of this, then you're brilliant. You're excellent. And I'd say follow the Football Suite on Twitter. Follow Richard Huckerville. The links will be in the description for all other details. And thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks very much.